In the near future, humanity made a final trade: memory for convenience. The echo chip was introduced as a miracle, a neural implant behind the ear, invisible to the naked eye, capable of recording and storing every sensory detail of your life: sight, sound, touch, smell, emotion, all indexed, all searchable. You could replay your first kiss, smell your grandmother's cooking, rewatch a sunset exactly as it happened. It was marketed as your life without forgetting. But memory became more than data. It became currency. Julia Meyer worked at a facility in Berlin, a clean, clinical building with white walls and no windows. She wasn't a doctor. She wasn't even technically allowed to operate the neural console. But Julia was talented. They called her a memory technician. People came to her to erase what they couldn't carry: breakups, accidents, abuse, war. Every day, she sat across from someone broken, hooked them into the echo terminal, located the painful memory using biomarkers, facial cues, and emotional spikes, and then cut it out. A digital lobotomy, wrapped in empathy. But Julia had a secret. After hours, when the clinic emptied out, she would sit alone in the extraction room, and she would watch. The memories people had discarded didn't get destroyed. Not really. They were just rerouted to a hidden server, legally, to comply with retention laws. But no one checked the dump folder. No one but her. Sometimes she watched weddings, sometimes funerals, sometimes horrifying things. But Julia didn't feel disturbed. She felt alive. She had stopped forming her own memories years ago. Nothing felt new anymore. No thrill, no wonder, no grief, just routine. Living second-hand lives gave her a pulse. One rainy night, just before closing, a man entered the clinic. No appointment, no smile, just eyes that didn't blink. He handed her a drive. "I want this extracted," he said. "It's not mine, but it's inside me." Julia hesitated. "You've been implanted with someone else's memory." He nodded. "They put something in me. I don't remember how, but ever since, I keep waking up inside it." She connected the drive, ran a preliminary scan. The data wasn't formatted like a normal echo capture. There were errors, corruption flags, endless loops. Julia frowned. "Where did you get this?" The man leaned forward. "I think I was part of something. Something they erased. And this," he tapped the drive, "this is the leak." She loaded the memory. Immediately she felt cold. Not temperature, something deeper. A neurological frost. Her skin tingled. Her jaw locked. The scene began. Fluorescent corridors, white tile, cameras in every corner. Room 6. Inside, children in glass pods, wires drilled into the base of their skulls. Monitors around the room showed real-time footage. Dreams, nightmares, images that shifted too fast to understand. One screen read, "Project LRE, Live Operational Replay Experiences." Julia's hands trembled. The children weren't asleep. They were conscious. Their minds were being streamed. Someone, somewhere, was watching them dream. She ejected the headset. "You were in this?" she asked. The man nodded. "I think I helped build it. I think I was part of it. Why do you still remember?" He stared blankly. "I don't. Not fully. I only remember when the chip starts replaying that loop. It feels like it's waking up on its own." He gripped the table. "I need it out. I need it out now." Julia ran a deep scan. The memory wasn't stored. It was running in the background, like a process. It had root access to his brainstem. It wasn't just a recording, it was alive. She gasped. This isn't an echo file. It's a live implant. He shook his head violently. Then you have to burn it. Right now. Julia copied the file. She didn't know why. Habit, maybe. Or curiosity. Or some part of her that couldn't let it go. That night, she returned to her apartment, locked the doors, turned off her phone, connected the file to her neural reader. The room fell silent. She was in the corridor again. But this time, she wasn't watching. She was walking. The walls pulsed with static. Her feet echoed against the tile. She reached room 6, looked through the glass, but the children weren't there. There was only her. Dozens of pods, and in each one, a version of Julia. Sleeping, dreaming, looping. One pod opened. She stepped in. Back in her apartment, Julia screamed and yanked off the reader. But the reader was off already, and the screen read 2,218. Host active, Julia Maya status. Broadcasting. She unplugged everything, smashed the console. But the screen stayed on. The next morning, she returned to the clinic. The man was gone. No appointment record, no footage. She checked the logs. Her system had no history of any scan, no file saved, no playback. Except for one anomaly. In the system metadata, user ID 5L33, PL0R3, her account. Her credentials. As if she had watched herself. She didn't sleep for days. Every time she closed her eyes, she was back there, in room 6, watching herself sleep, watching herself scream, watching herself broadcast. She reached out to a former colleague, Dr. Toma, now working with neural security at a private firm. After some convincing, he ran a silent diagnostic and found something. There's a partition in your chip, he said. Encrypted, non-standard protocol. I've never seen anything like it. He paused. It's broadcasting on a secure subnet. To where? Julia asked. He stared at her. To viewers. What kind of viewers? He didn't answer. She grabbed his laptop and scrolled. There, buried in system traffic logs, were session IDs, thousands of them. IP addresses across the world. Users logging in, watching, commenting. They thought they were watching a show. That night, Julia tried to remove the chip. It didn't work. Every time she blacked out, she'd wake up in a different scene, a different loop, sometimes reliving her own memories, sometimes others, but always observed. Once, she saw herself arguing with her mother, a memory she never saved. Then she was drowning in a lake. Then she was a child again. Then she was standing in room 6, watching a version of herself cry inside a pod. The worst part? She started seeing ratings. In the corner of her vision, emotion index 8.9, viewer retention 92%, trending tag, deep loop. Her life wasn't hers anymore. It was content. She traveled to the old facility. It was abandoned now, but room 6 was still there, covered in dust, wires hanging, lights flickering. One console remained active, flickering softly. She approached it. Her face appeared on the monitor. Tired, hollow. Below it, live now, 9,002 viewers watching. She typed one word into the console. Stop. Nothing happened. Then the screen glitched. Letters scrambled. A message appeared. You are the show, Julia. You don't get to stop. They paid for your story. She slammed her fists against the machine. No one would pay for this. The reply came instantly. They're not paying for you. They're paying for the feeling. Fear, sadness, collapse, The purest emotions are the ones we don't fake. She backed away. You're lying, the monitor blinked. Then close your eyes. She did. She opened them in a child's bedroom. A boy was sitting in front of a headset, watching a screen. Her face was on it. He looked entertained. He smiled. Wow, he whispered. This one feels so real. He clicked. Replay. And Julia begins again, trapped in the story, streaming forever.